Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video with On Point Politics, your number one stop for all things polling and elections in the United States. And today we're going to be looking at the Trump-Harris approvals that just came out of Gallup, which are some of the most accurate approval rating numbers you can find out there in the industry, and why Trump is in a good spot to defeat Harris not only in the Electoral College, but in the popular vote by a margin that I am proposing. Make sure to hit the like button to subscribe if you want more content just like this. And so, as of right now, guys, Donald Trump has a 46% approval rating according to Gallup. Just last month, he was at 41%. Now, just to let you guys know, approval ratings do not shake that much in that amount of time. What happened was the fact that you had a response bias back in August and in July. It was a response bias in the polling data. You can even look at Harris's approval rating, and it was about tied. Now she's down 10 points in favorability in Gallup's polling. And you could even see here, she was at 34% in June. Now she's at 44. I could see why she would have gone up a bit, but not to the point where she's going up on net 13 points. That's just absolutely insane. And by the way, guys, her numbers are not even as good as they were back in 2020, by the way. October 2020, she was around 45%. That's not really great. Then she went up to 53 all the way back in 2021 of basically January of 2021. So that's pretty crazy. And Trump, left office with about a 40, roughly 49% approval rating. He had a 49% approval rating in April. Then in July, October, he had a 45%. November, he had a 42%. Then all the way in January, he got a 36% approval rating because of January 6th. And then in 2022, he was at a 37% approval rating. He started kind of going up here and there, and eventually now he kind of went back up to 46%. But this is the important part, guys. This is something very, very interesting. He's got about a 91% approval rating with Republicans. Harris has a 94% approval rating with Democrats. With Republicans, she's got a 6% approval rating. With Democrats, he's got about a 3% approval. But look at that independent. Look at that independent margin. Look at that. He's got a 44% approval rating with independents. She's got a 35% approval. Not only that, he's only at 53% disapproval with independents. She's at 60. So on net, he's only disapproved of independents by 9 points. She's disapproved of by a whopping 25 points with independents. Absolutely insane. Completely insane. And you see this, look at the spread. Look at their spread. Look at this, guys. Look at the spread in favorability between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. A 5-point lead for President Joe Biden. Literally a 5-point lead. And look at the last one, 45 to 49. The popular vote was 46 to 51. Basically spot on to what actually happened. Or it was 47 to 51 because technically he got 46.9. Look at this, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, a 5-point spread. You even see it here, but if you look at the 5-point spread, early August, September, looking at this, Trump at 34, Hillary at 43, but you had independent, candidates kind of take the vote away. You see Obama was ahead of Mitt Romney by quite a substantial amount. Obama was ahead of McCain by quite a substantial amount. Bush was ahead of Kerry. So these are very good indicators of who wins the popular vote. Even Al Gore was ahead by a few points. So this is very, very predictive of who wins the popular vote. And right now, Donald Trump is ahead by 2 points. And what do we know? Donald Trump is currently ahead in my model by 3.4% in the national popular vote. And these are some of the most accurate favorability ratings you can find out there. It's just, Gallup is a very respected, polling firm in the industry. Basically, what started the industry. Pretty much. And so the fact that he's doing this well, he's ahead by 2 points on Kamala Harris. If we had a 2-point lead in the popular vote for Donald Trump, he's basically won the Electoral College at that point. It would be kind of similar to what I have right now. Wouldn't be that different, except states like Minnesota would probably end up being in the, would probably be in the lean column. Ohio would probably be barely likely. At that point, Georgia, North Carolina, well, it would probably still be safe anyway, actually, now thinking about it. Arizona, Nevada would probably be in the likely column. Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania are now in the likely column. Or, well, no, I think in an R+2 national environment, I think more than likely Wisconsin would be in the likely column. Michigan, Pennsylvania would probably still be lean. Alaska would be in the safe column, including Hawaii. You have Colorado, Illinois, D.C., Maryland, Massachusetts, Vermont, Connecticut, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Delaware. New York would barely fall under 15. Maine's first would be in the likely column. Maine second would be safe. And looking at some of these more competitive states, New Mexico, Minnesota, Virginia, New Hampshire, and Maine at large would all be in the lean column. Nebraska second would probably be a tilt Democrat state. And a lot of these would barely end up being in the lean column too. Like Minnesota would probably be just above a point, including New Hampshire and Maine as well. So the fact that the approval ratings have the former president doing this good in his national standing leads me to believe he would be the favorite to win the popular vote. And if that's the case, even if he wins the popular vote by 1, let's say he wins it by 1, right? I would still be the most accurate forecaster because no other major forecaster has Donald Trump even winning the popular vote. And I currently have him winning the popular vote in my polling average by around 3.4%. We can actually go ahead and look at it. What I do is I reweigh all the polling data based on Atlas Intel's electorate. And when we go to my retrospective polling for 2020, I do the same thing. I plug in the last electorate from Atlas Intel, which is the most accurate pollster internationally from the past couple of years. I plug in all the data. It all goes in. I grade it based on the sample size, the undecideds. So the less undecided you have, the higher score you get. And also grading on sample and on margin. When you go ahead and do that, you essentially get a pretty accurate average. I mean, Biden's at 50.8%. I mean, that's literally close to his actual share of what he got. Trump at 45.7, almost 46. Again, pretty accurate. And my spread is Biden plus 5.1, and I would have had a better spread than anybody in the industry would have essentially had. And so looking at this now, looking at, On Point Politics 2024, we now see in the average that Donald Trump, I mean, after the Atlas Intel poll, I basically switched to an R+3 electorate, which is what they had. I basically just switched to their electorate. And when I did do that, Donald Trump is leading quite substantially. The Harris X poll did bring him down a little bit in the average, but Harris is around that 45% mark. And what do you know? Looking at Gallup, her approval rating is right around 44%. That is where her approval rating currently is right now, 44%, and I currently have her at about 45. So again, it's not too shabby, guys. It's not too shabby. I have her within what Gallup has her in her approval rating, and the reason why Donald Trump may be higher is because of the fact that the former president always tends to outperform his job approval rating by quite a large amount because he's got a lot of people who disapprove of him who end up voting for him in the presidential election regardless because they think he did a good job. Undecideds are now at an all-time high, by the way, so a lot of that Kennedy support that kind of just disappeared has now become undecided voters. So starting around here, that's when Kennedy kind of started, his supporters started going undecided. Before that, a lot of them were kind of just going to Trump or Harris. But as his support continued to drop, you saw the undecideds go up. So there's a lot of Kennedy voters that are kind of still on the fence, and even some voters who were even going to vote for either major party candidate now sort of undecided. So the undecided number is pretty high now, actually. And you have about a 3-point race at the national level. And so at this point, I mean, we'll see what happens, but my stuff is looking pretty good. Right now, my forecast currently has Donald Trump at this map right now. I mean, pretty much at this map, he's at 300. Well, actually, Nebraska's first is going lean Republican there. So that is currently my map right now. This is my map. Donald Trump getting 313 electoral college votes to Harris's 225. And the recent, approval ratings from Gallup, which tend to be the more respected, kind of industry standard, is definitely showing that we are on good track, or at least that the former president is on good track to win the national popular vote in 2024. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button to subscribe if you want more content just like this, and I will see you guys in the next video.